Так, ну что ж, господа, всем здравствуйте, кто у нас не спит столь поздний час. Доброго времени суток. С вами Скэтман. Сегодня у нас с вами рандомное достижение Стима в какой-то неведомой игре. Что у нас за игра, мы сейчас поведаем. Привет, не сахар. Привет, хитаран. Здравствуйте, господа. Проснулся я глубоко ночью и такой думаю, ну, начал постримить. Чё постримить? Хочется чуть необычного и в то же время... по-хорошему, конечно, посмотреть как что-нибудь заказанное. И вот вспомнил, же есть рандомная чипка. О, это из-за так делаю, да? Так, а можно нам в графоне близкие? Ага. И это все. Ну, это не прикольно. Старенькая, видимо, игрулечка. Сейчас, секундочку. Это не прикольно. Так. Картинка. Угу. Вот так вот. Да ёк. Так. Поехали.
Do you think he'll recover?
I don't know. It's too soon to say. We should let him rest. He's been very feeble for weeks. He can't get up. He doesn't speak. Do you think we should call a doctor?
Call a doctor? Here?
You're right. Let's just hope he wakes up one of these days. Come on, my friend. Hang on. Don't give up.
Please, let me get to
Это постапок.
Wake up, Michael. Come on, you have to wake up.
Кто здесь? Где ты печешься? Что происходит? Что это место? Прошу ответить. Кто здесь?
Who's there?
Please, Michael, wake up.
Меня зовут Майкл.
Wake up.
Видимо.
This silence. This darkness. Where am I? Damn it. I can't remember.
Где ты прячешься?
Where are you? Where are you hiding?
Michael, please wake up. You have to wake up.
Michael? Is that my name? Please tell me where I am. I can't remember anything.
Что происходит? Что это место? Прошу ответить.
What's happening? What is this place? Please, tell me.
Wake up, Michael.
Don't go. Please, come back. Come back. This silence. This darkness. This emptiness.
Масляная лампа. Во-первых, лагерь полный крыс.
Good morning. I hope you're feeling better.
But...
Now don't be alarmed. I'm glad you feel strong enough to get out of bed. That's wonderful news. I must say you're looking much better, considering what you've been through, of course.
Who are you?
Ah, yes, of course. Forgive my manners. You've been with us for so long that I forgot that you don't know who we are. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Rod Atkinson. I was the director of the Municipal Property Registry before, you know, before the world collapsed on us.
Ah. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Atkinson. But
Как он, кажется, своеобразный. Что за
where am
место?
I? What is this place?
You are in what I venture to call our home, our humble, hopefully temporary home. This is one of the many trailers that make up the refugee camp. And believe me, we can consider ourselves lucky to live between these four walls. Most of the inhabitants of this hellhole, excuse my crude language, have nothing more than plastic tarps and cardboard for shelter.
Wait a second. Did you say refugee camp?
Yes, of course. The Facility for Temporary Accommodation of Disaster Victims is what they called it. You know, after the army declared martial law following the catastrophe. You look a little confused, if you don't mind my saying so. Do you really not know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I'm afraid not. Let me ask you.
Вы не знаете, что я здесь делаю?
Can you tell me what I'm doing here?
Yes, of course. I think we owe you an explanation. A few days after the Great Wave, we found you lying in a ditch near the airport.
Великая
You were
волна.
badly injured and unconscious. We couldn't just leave you
Века.
there. Someone had already stolen your luggage and identification. It was awful. So we decided to take care of you ourselves and brought you here. You've been with us ever since. By the way, I should tell you that when we found you, your clothes were ripped to shreds. So we threw them away. The clothes you're wearing now are mine. You'll find more things in that wardrobe. If you need anything, just help yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Atkinson. But
Великая волна? О чем вы говорите?
the Great Wave? What are you talking about?
Well, what would I be talking about? That damned, excuse my language, explosion that brought ruin to all of us. The origin of this filthy new world that now seems to be our permanent reality. But do you really not remember? Do you really not remember anything about all this?
I feel a little weak and dizzy, Mr. Atkinson. Excuse me. I'm afraid I can't. I can't remember a thing.
I see. There have been many cases like yours in the camp. Try to rest and not to get too agitated. Well, there's one thing I can tell you. You can consider yourself fortunate. There's nothing nice to remember about recent times, believe me.
Секундочку. С нами
You
еще
said
кто живет?
with us. Who else lives here?
Ah, yes, of course. I still haven't properly introduced my family to you. Now is a bad time, but I promise to make proper introductions later. My wife and I sleep in the other room, and, well, little Colin sleeps with us.
Colin?
Yes, Colin is our only child. Our one ray of hope since the catastrophe. I'm going to confess something to you. Colin is the only reason my wife and I still struggle to keep going in this new world. We would have given up a long time ago if it weren't for him.
Of course. I understand. So that was your wife's voice that woke me up a few minutes ago, right?
My wife? No, that's impossible. My wife has been with me in the other room the whole time. We haven't come out of there for hours. But I'm glad you're feeling better and are fully conscious now. I guess we could say you've been reborn. And although the circumstances aren't the best, simply being alive nowadays is practically a luxury. So, welcome to our home.
И за что, впрочем, вы спасли меня? Я очень признателен,
From
мистер
what you've
Аткинсон.
told me, I see that you've saved my life. I'm very grateful, Mr. Atkinson.
No, please. You don't have to thank us. We just did what we had to. It's our moral obligation to uphold the ethical principles of civilization in this new world. But call me Rod, please. And, well, we also did it for Colin, you see. What kind of future does he face if we accept that it's every man for himself, that no one cares about anyone else? It's a terrifying prospect, don't you think? We're just doing whatever we can to avoid that future, that's all.
Rod! Rod!
Please excuse me, but I have to leave you now.
No, wait, please. What's happening? Don't go yet.
Да
I'm
погоди ты,
sorry, I
чувак.
understand that you have a lot of questions to ask me, but now isn't the time. Believe me, I promise to answer each and every one of your questions in peace and quiet later. Sorry, but I have to go.
Rod, please, quickly!
Okay, all right.
Now that you're feeling better, you can go out and take a walk around the camp. But please be very careful out there. The world you knew before.
То есть
is
ты вот так
gone.
вот в
Heed
рандом
my
рандом
warning,
отправляешь
don't
туда?
touch anything. Don't talk to anyone. And don't get mixed up in anything. At least until someone explains to you how things work in this new world. The
Тогда
third wave
какого
of this.
хрена ты нас туда
Everything has
отпускаешь?
changed so much out there.
All right. Thanks for the advice.
Иди
Ah,
прогуляйся
one
по
more
лагерю,
thing
говорит.
before I go. You've been with us for quite a while now, and we don't even know what to call you. What is your name?
My name? Michael. My name is Michael.
Very pleased to meet you, Michael. We'll talk again later, I promise.
Michael. That's what that disembodied voice called me. That must be my name. Wake up, Michael. That's all she said. Leaving me in this immense void where I can't remember anything. Great wave? New world? Refugee camp? But what the devil could have happened out there? I think it might be a good idea to go out there and take a look.
Что за бред? Чувак, иди прогуляйся, но при этом ни с кем не разговаривай, ничего не трогай, пока тебе кто-нибудь не объяснит, что происходит. Так может они нас стоит вот пускать гулять идти там, нет?
With the glass in the door broken and that thick coating of grease lining it, I doubt anything's been baked in this oven for a long time. A pile of frying pans, plates, and dirty silverware waiting to be washed. Ugh, this place smells like a cheap, greasy spoon.
Да что с тобой случилось-то опять, естественно? Ты пошел нас погулять, конечно. Так. Насчет гафон своеобразный. Ну, что там у игры? 82% положительное. Из скольки? Из 1000 обзоров. Ну, что так? Так.
This oil lamp is the room's only source of light. The flickering of the flame makes the room look ghostly, like in a dream,
Окей, Заха.
more like in a nightmare.
У нас ачивка надо этот самый... ну, по сути, там надо только до 3 главы дойти или типа того.
I can hear people whispering on the other side. It's the door Rod went through after hearing those moans, the same one he made sure to bolt shut. It's no use. It won't open. I heard Rod bolt it from inside.
Шкаф.
The old closet Rod told me about. It's funny. With the glass in the door shattered, my reflection in the mirror is fragmented, like a photo ripped into little pieces and taped back together. Impossible. It's locked. I'm afraid my host forgot to unlock it before he left. It's an unframed snapshot, stuck directly on the wall of the room. 2 adults and a child smiling at the camera in what looks like an enormous yard. One of them is Rod, my host. The scrap of fabric has traces of blood, sweat, and other fluids I can't even identify. If this sheet was ever white, it must have been a long time ago. A very long time ago.
Так, окей, ну что у нас остается? Все? Все. А
I'm
лампа...
not gonna snuff out this oil lamp. This place looks sinister enough with light. Good God. What the hell happened here? Rod was right. I don't know what hit this place. But whatever it was, it struck into its very foundations, without any mercy whatsoever. What's happening now?
You better hide, dude. Don't you know that it's dangerous to show your face when the cleanup brigades come into the camp? You're new here, aren't you?
Yeah, you could put it that way.
Well, welcome to your new home. I'm Hank, but everyone calls me the Hunter.
I'm Michael. But what's going on up there?
Nothing, Mike, just routine. The cleanup brigades are taking away a sick person, a dissolved. You know how it is, just doing their job. Ironically, that house belongs to one of the camp moles. Those traitorous scumbags.
Brigades, dissolved, moles. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't remember anything.
Oh, I see, you're a blankhead. Well, you better get up to speed real quick if you want to survive here, Mike. Find me if you need help, dude. I can get you whatever you need. Doesn't matter where it is, how fast it runs, or where it tries to hide. That's why they call me the Hunter.
All right, I'll remember that.
Come back here! Don't take her away! Don't you know who I am? Come back here!
Жестко.
They shot that poor man in cold blood. But why did they do that? Hey, Hank?
Опа, глаза открыть.
I'm afraid he's gone. The enormous trailer that serves as a home for Rod and his family.
Как
I
он
find it
под
hard to
углом.
imagine this heavy old monstrosity ever traveled on the highway. The half-scrap remains of a sports car that looks like a collector's item. From the style, it must have been worth a pretty penny a long, long time ago. But now, I'm afraid it's just scrap metal.
Две машины.
Time has left these hinges bent and rusted. There's no way I'm going to be able to break open this door with my bare hands.
Опа. The fuck?
What's happening? What is this? What the hell's going on here? Good God. I think I'm starting to lose my mind.
Охренеть, чувак путешествует во времени?
It's the lot outside Rod's trailer. Something tells me it might...
А он босиком ходит, да?
That must be little Colin. Was that him I heard moaning in pain inside the trailer? That's Rod's wife. I heard her calling him from the other side of that. She looks worn out with those dark circles under her eyes.
У него красные глаза.
Rod seems upset and worried. What's going on in there? From here, it looks like one of those metal boxes for Danish butter cookies. And judging from how worn it looks, I'd say that it's been reused over and over again.
Не помню такого, не сахар.
Rod seems... On the other side is the room.
Hey, you! Don't even think of putting your paws on that shopping cart! Stay away from my stuff, or I swear I'll rip your guts out with my bare hands!
Okay, calm down. I won't touch anything.
Бездомный.
Ouch! Damn it! I managed to rip open the sole of my foot in a rusty nail.
Hey, it's not a good idea to walk around barefoot in this enormous trash heap. You won't get very far without shoes.
Ржавым гвоздем.
Thanks for the tip.
The tip is yours to keep, but if you come near my things, you're a dead man. Understood? Wait,
Ой, не
I
сахар.
recognize you. Aren't you the guy Rod's been taking care of in his trailer all this time?
Yes, I am. Do you know Rod?
Of course I do. Everyone in the camp knows Rod. You owe him your life. Don't doubt that for a second. Nowadays, no one in his right mind would do what he did for you, for a total stranger.
Yes, I'm very grateful to him. But tell me, can I ask you a few questions?
Я слышу чудовищный взрыв или говорят, что за
I've been
чертовщина?
hearing a...
But what kind of question is that? Where have you been all this time? Sleeping in a cave?
Well, you could say that.
The Great Wave is the reason we're confined here like animals. The entire world went to hell in a handcart that day, and we went with it.
И тут, собственно говоря, можешь сказать что-нибудь еще?
I've been able to see that with my own eyes. Can you tell me anything else?
Okay, I'll tell you what I know. The great wave hit us one Friday afternoon right out of the blue. I remember it perfectly because I'd just come out of an important meeting at that precise moment. I'd made a lot of money from a very fat contract. Yes, sirree, Bob. Very, very fat. First, we felt the ground quaking, as if a volcano was about to erupt right under our feet. I had to get out of my car and run. Then came the explosions. Glass broke. Buildings toppled. And then for weeks, the stench of corpses rotting in the streets. In just a few hours, that damn great wave sent us all, with our businesses, our money, and our convertibles, straight back to the Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages?
Of course! Are you surprised?
Темные века, а
In
не
a matter of
средневековье.
minutes, we were left with no electricity, no water, no communications. And after the initial
Как
chaos,
так?
the dissolved started to show up. And
Есть
that
такой несахар.
horrible gash opened up in the sky. That stupid breach up there that no one in this hellhole has bothered to explain to us. The fact is that the remains of the old system only held up for a few weeks. And through the cracks, what you see around you started seeping in.
The New World, right?
Yes, indeed. You catch on fast. Welcome to the future, son. Not exactly the way you pictured it, huh?
То есть нам нельзя спрятать лагерь беженцев?
Refugee camp. I've always found that term amusing. It seems like things on the other side of the fence work a little better. But here, look around you. Does this look like a refugee camp? It's an army detention camp, and you're a prisoner. Once you come in here, you lose everything, even your name. To them, you're nothing more than a rat.
Типа
Just
того, не
another
сахар.
camp rat. You'd never be able to get through the gate, especially if you don't know anyone or don't have any contacts on the outside. Doesn't matter who you might have been before the old world collapsed. Believe me, I speak from experience.
Другой вопрос,
If you're
зачем
just a
выходить?
camp rat, I'm afraid the only way out of here is feet first. I don't know if you get my meaning.
Of course I do.
You can keep the words, but come near my things.
Стрельба, не могли бы мне объяснить, что сейчас случилось?
Explain what exactly? Someone got too chatty and ratted out a sick person, that's all. There's usually a pact of silence in the camp. No one likes to see one of their own in those ambulances. But in this case, the dissolved was a relative of one of the camp moles. Ironic, isn't it?
But they shot a man.
Yes, so they did. So what? The price of human life has gotten a lot cheaper lately. That needn't surprise anyone these days.
Did you
Летающие.
say
Of course, the dissolved. But what the hell's wrong with you? Those people are a real plague. Let me give you a piece of advice about them. If you see one, run the other way like he was the devil himself. Even if they don't give you that deadly disease or drive you crazy with their trances, the cleanup brigades will kill you for hiding one.
Трансы,
You
то,
saw it
что мы
with your
видели.
own eyes. They don't even respect their own camp moles.
Кто такие лагерные
A
кроты?
spy, a stool pigeon. It's in the army's interest to control the camp from inside. And so they pay some of the inhabitants to feed them information about what happens on this side of the fence. Who comes in, who goes out, who causes trouble. And, of course, who gets sick. They're scumbags, but very well-paid scumbags. And they have certain privileges that no one else in here has. Never trust a mole. They'll do anything to hang on to the favors the army gives them in this
Буквально крот.
hellhole.
okay? I'll take your advice.
You're welcome. But
Скажите мне о роде
Tell me
этности.
about
well, I don't know him very well, but they say he's decent enough. Too decent for the times we're living in. Did you know that before coming here, he was someone important? I think he worked for the government. and he still has some good contacts on the outside. But they're not good enough to get that stupid do-gooder and his family out of here.
Stupid do-gooder?
Well, you know how it is. He has helped a lot of people in the camp. I reckon that he's too weak for these times. I don't know how long he'll be able to survive.
You said he had a son. A pretty good reason to hang on, don't you think?
Yes, Colin. I haven't seen that kid running around here for some time. Do you know if he's all right?
I don't know. I still haven't seen him. His father told me about him.
Well, I'm glad he's not anywhere near me.
Well.
Just be sure.
Так, окей. Где нам обувь раздобыть?
A bunch
Лачуги.
of shacks. I can't imagine how it must be to live in... No. I think it would be better to go back inside...
Ага, давай. С раненой ногой ходит.
Well, look at that. When I pulled back the sheet, part of it got torn on the spring sticking out of the bed frame. I hope Rod doesn't notice. A depressing sight. This is the bed where I've been...
Так, окей.
Impossible, I'm afraid. It's no use.
Ну и какие у нас варианты? С веревочкой можно скрафтить сандалии. Крышка от котелка.
There's a very worn old notebook hidden under the lid. The cover is practically falling off the spiral binding. It looks like someone stashed it here some time ago, and then forgot about it.
Крышка от котелка, тетрадь.
It's an old accounting ledger that still has a few blank pages left in it. From what's written in here, it looks like someone was using it as a diary, before ripping out almost all its pages and leaving it inside the oven in the trailer.
Он опять говорил с дедушкой и бабушкой, моими покойными родителями. Его отлучки становятся все дольше и страшнее. Грохот из дыры в небе все еще приводит Колина в ужас. Всевышний разорал небо и приказал ангелам своим покарать нас через рану сию. Это слово преподобного Блейка, святой человек. Его мать слишком страдает, мы договорились спрятать пистолет с 2 патронами в коробку из-под печенья. Господи помилуй, но когда его не станет, у нас не будет будущего. Мои подчиненные, коллеги, начальство, неужели больше никто не помнит Рода Эткинсона? Но мы должны быть сильными ради мальчика. Мы не позволим великой волне стереть нас до конца. Так, окей.
It's a bit dented. In fact, it still has some traces of food stuck to it. I don't see anything. Use this here.
Oh.
The oil lamp is better not fool.
Окей.
The bed frame under the
Чаще
mattress is so
пружина.
battered that one of the springs is turned into a very sharp protruding object. Better not. The squeak of the...
Ага.
I don't see anything. I'd better hold on to it. I don't think I'm afraid there's... Let's see. I could swear that the lid is just the right size for this drum. Perfect.
И чё, и зачем это?
Damn it! What's going on?
Серьезно?
This damn shithole is going to be the end of us.
То есть...
This filthy shithole is going to be the death of us.
Япония, что ли? Он типа не заметил, что мы перед ним закрыли его источник тепла? И все для того, чтобы полутать у него?
Quickly, before this man stops coughing. Let's see what we have here.
Класс! Быстро перешел к воровству.
Food, tattered clothes, and trash. Wait a minute. It seems like there's also a small billfold with a bunch of credit cards. What the hell is this guy doing with so much plastic money?
Такая разница, ему не нужны.
These are the charred and misshapen remains of a bank card. I doubt it could be used in this condition, assuming there's anyone capable of finding a cash machine working. This guy's a no. Someone improvised a bonfire inside that drum. Now that I've covered the top, the smoke coming out of.
Да, и зачем ты это сделал, чувак?
A person can't even breathe in this hellhole anymore.
Так, нафига нам карточка?
I don't think I'd gain it. Impossible. I don't see.
A person can't even breathe in this.
Let's see if I can do this.
Ну да, трюк с карточкой и открытием замка.
Good. The mechanism gave way on the first try, but the card is trashed. For my sake, I hope that guy outside never finds out about this.
Бутылка виски. Наволочка. Старая обувь.
Not just yet. It won't take more than a few hours for the wound on my foot to turn really ugly.
Ну чё, бутылка виски, походу.
A high-proof whiskey. The bottle was hidden in rot. I suppose that despite his apparent strength, that man needs to escape his problems from time to time. White, folded, with a scent of fabric softener. It's sad, but this pillowcase is the nicest thing I've seen since I woke up. What for?
В смысле, ты себя раунд не хочешь обработать?
What these sheets need isn't liquor.
Так.
Why change the sheets?
This filthy shithole is
I'm
going
not
to
gonna
be
do
the
it.
death
The
of
entire.
us.
No doubt the whiskey in this bottle would liven up. I don't think it's a good idea to offer him.
A person can't even breathe in this hellhole anymore.
It's no use. Putting this fabric near the oil lamp. No question. So no. I'm afraid I can't.
А что ты должен сделать? У тебя типа рана на ноге.
I don't see any.
И ты не одеваешь, ну, не хочешь себя обработать.
Not just. It won't take more than a few hours.
А, типа ему нужно... Сначала я понял.
I'm
Очистить
not gonna waste
старую
the
обувь.
whiskey. That would only. And those shoes wouldn't be.
Понятно. Ну, тогда наволочка.
The pillowcase is quite large.
Тогда надо ее разрезать. Как? Торчащей пружиной.
Okay. Let's see how well this protruding bed spring can cut.
Бинты.
I'll use a little of what's in the bottle. Here goes. I'll use the bandages on my foot. I hope the alcohol is enough to keep it from getting infected. Let's pray this improvised remedy doesn't lead to a delightful case of gangrene.
What bastard put a lid on the drum? You tried to suffocate me, you bunch of assholes!
I think that guy out there just discovered the reason for a sudden coughing fit.
Some coward in this shithole wanted to suffocate me! Me! Who was it? Who was it? Come back here so I can give you back your lid, you son of a bitch!
Did
Did you hear that noise, Rod? What's going on out there?
I don't know. I'll go have a look. I think it's that poor drunk who's always hanging around the trailer. He's kicking up a fuss again. It's a good thing poor Colin can't hear his insults.
Don't ever say anything like that again, Rod.
I'm sorry, honey. I wasn't thinking.
Ну, видимо, let's talk.
What are you doing here? Get out of here! You've no business being in this room!
Rod, I'm sorry.
У нас на глазах мутирует,
What's going
да?
on?
Get out of here, Michael! You didn't see anything, understood? Out! Out! Excuse my outburst, Michael. I shouldn't have behaved that way. It's not like me. But this new world brings out the worst in all of us. It's just that I can't stand to see Colin suffer this way. So for your own good, please, stay away from this room.
Окей.
Wait, why?
It's no use trying to hide it. You're bound to... And the authorities claim his illness...
Highly contagious? Is he one of the dissolved?
Michael! I won't let anyone use that word in my house!
My house.
Yes, Colin caught that damn disease.
В чем заключается заболевание?
What exactly?
I don't know, Michael. No one really does. The only news is what the army brings us. They say the disease is highly contagious, and it's our duty to turn over all victims to the cleanup brigades. But no one has ever come back after being carried off in one of those ambulances. No one. So we can't let them take Colin, do you understand?
Yes, of course I understand.
They say that all the victims are condemned, that there's no salvation for anyone, that at the end of their suffering and their trances lies certain death. I think that even the army is afraid of the victims. Really strange things happen around them, Michael. Things you wouldn't believe.
Что происходит у зараженных болезнью?
What things happen?
Strange things with no possible explanation. In their trances, they go places, Michael. They bring back information. They know things. They talk to people who are no longer with us. And we've been living like this for
Ну вот.
The things that are happening around Colin are getting more and more confusing and hard to bear.
Talking to the dead? Jesus.
Да мы то же самое
My
делали.
nerves are shot from the exhaustion and stress.
Но как Колин заразился?
But how did Colin get?
We don't know. No one knows how the disease is spread. The only thing we know is that the disease appeared after the catastrophe and that it's spreading like wildfire.
So the Great Wave brought the dissolved with it?
Yes, but don't use that word again. Not in this house anyway. It's so cruel and disrespectful.
Dissolve.
In effect, that's the only thing we know for sure about all this insanity. The Great Wave took everything from us and left us with this epidemic.
What's happening to Colin is terrible. If only there was something I could do.
Well, Michael, you can help us. I'm convinced that our finding you was no coincidence. You've got to help us.
Мессия. Ну, кстати, скажу, что, блин, что я могу сделать?
But you said yourself.
No, all is not lost. It seems that in the city, on the other side of the fence, the victims have access to a drug. But we can't get it here. And my contacts out there, well, let's just say they can't do anything to help.
Значит, лекарство.
So there's a.
Yes, but they say that producing it takes a long time and is very expensive. And so it's reserved for city dwellers who can afford to pay for it. Get us that drug, Michael. I beg of you, please. Colin's time is running out.
Исход 5, я видел, тебя стык, он может
Getting involved
заразиться.
looks dangerous.
Infection? Are you afraid for your life, Michael? Without our help, you'd be dead right now. Dead. Don't forget that.
Это правда.
What's more, I could help you in return. I could help you get back what you lost, don't you see?
Give me back what I lost?
I know the essential part, Michael. I know that you're a blankhead.
Blankhead? What the devil does that mean?
A blankhead is a person with no memories, who can't remember anything. It seems that the Great Wave had an enormous neurological impact on certain people, Michael. Or even the worst case, There are people who even forgot how to talk and how to walk after the explosion. Some ended up dying of starvation. They forgot what food looked like, how to chew it, even that eating was a necessity. You can consider yourself lucky. You still remember how to keep yourself alive. That's the important thing. The natural recovery process is slow. It can take months, if at all. Listen to me, Michael. A man without memories is just a shadow, or even worse, he's nobody. I still have some contacts out there. I was an important man in the municipal government. I could trace your name, your data in public records, your fingerprints. I could restore your whole life in the blink of an eye. But please, help us.
I'm grateful for your help, Rod, and for everything you people have done for me. But
listen to me, Michael. We know that it's possible that our son is condemned to die. In fact, my wife and I have everything prepared for when he leaves us. Our child is the only thing that keeps us holding on in the new world. Nothing would have any meaning for us without him. So if there is even the slightest chance of saving him, we are prepared to do whatever it takes. Please, Michael, help us. For God's sake, listen to him. He's just a child.
Rod, come in here, quickly!
Bring us that cure, and we'll help. Colin is our only hope in this new world.
Вот иди сюда быстрее. Да что он сделает? Приходит и просто сидит там.
Is he out of his mind? That man wants me to put his son's life in my hands? I can barely remember who I am. And I probably wouldn't last more than a few hours out there. But Rod was right. A man without a past is nothing more than a shadow. He offered to help me get my life back, my memories. So if I want answers, I have only one path to get that drug.
Ну да. Смысл в этом есть.
Wait a minute. Before leaving, I should write down everything important I find out in this notebook. It might come in handy if, as Rod says, I'm one of the blankheads the great wave left in its wake.
Неплохо. Кышку выкинул, да? Рот обещал помочь мне вернуть воспоминания в обмен на лекарства для тающих.
Can I ask you a few questions?
I'll answer anything.
Может сказать, что вам известно ликование, могли вы еще беседовать насчет стрельбы?
Can you tell me?
Okay, the great wave hit us one Friday. First, then in
The dark?
of it at that.
Well,
Just
Окей.
times there's no way out.
Нужно вот какую-то палку найти или типа того.
A quick glance at these tents is enough to make you realize how forsaken these poor people are, confined against their will inside the camp.
К слову, сейф, наверное, надо сделать. Мало ли меня еще убьют там.
It's the enormous fence around the perimeter of the camp, with surveillance from the towers and on the ground. This barbed wire fence intensifies the feeling of claustrophobia in here, making it even more suffocating.
Обувь подвешена.
In the distance, you can see the skyline of the city. It doesn't seem that far away. From what people say, things work somewhat better there. Could that be true? Although it looks hastily and shoddily built, it's surprising to see a brick-and-mortar building amid all these shacks in the refugee camp. No doubt this must belong to someone important, or with very good contacts in here.
Ну что, попадаем с военными? Часовой ворот.
Clean and well-maintained. This bike is without a doubt the best-looking object in the entire refugee camp. Although, that's not saying much considering the disastrous condition of everything around me. A small military sentry box with no door. So narrow that the soldier on duty can hardly turn around inside. It's the trio of soldiers who go. They're as violent and unyielding as the barbed wire surrounding this dump.
Where do you think you're going, Rat? No one leaves here without a pass, unless it's with a bullet between the eyes.
Yes, and we can take care of that for you if you don't get away from that gate. Come on, stick your neck out. We could use a little entertainment tonight.
What's the matter, Rat? Cat got your tongue?
I think it's best if I get away from the gate. I'm afraid their threats are deadly serious. Sorry, guys. I'm not looking for trouble.
Пускай злаки, пускай такую бабушку дело получить.
Only soldiers and moles have passes for entering and leaving the camp. And you don't look like either one of those things. So get lost.
Well, sometimes we can make an exception, but only if the person who wants to leave is generous enough. And why exactly do you want to leave the refugee camp? What did you lose on the other side of the fence, Rat?
Я слышал, в городе не так плохие, правда?
So,
yeah, it could be. But that's none of your business. What do you care? If you're gonna die in this dump anyway.
Get the idea of leaving right out of your head. There's no place for rats like you on the other side of the fence. Unless you want to take a walk in Suicide Park. Do you want to become a Dark Star, Rat?
Now quit bothering us and get lost.
Я еще помочь для самого другу, вот и все.
Heartwarming. Really heartwarming. I got an idea. Why don't you bring your friend and his kid with you? We'd be happy to let all three of you leave.
really?
Of course, Rat. We love target practice. I promise to give you guys a running start.
Yeah, we'll give you a few yards start. That would make it more fun.
I get the impression I'm talking to two armed psychopaths. Unbelievable. Who put these guys in charge of guarding the camp? I'm afraid it doesn't seem like such a good idea to me.
Почему за меня крысы? Кто ж
Why are
командир?
you calling me?
Well, did you hear that? It looks like we have a new kid on the block. Let me ask you something. If you people living in this camp crawl around in garbage, build your houses out of garbage, and eat garbage, what else are we going to call you?
We're in charge here, the ones with the rifles. That's the only rule you need to know. See all those dark stains on the wall next to the barbed wire?
Yes, I see them.
They're the guts and brains of rats like you who forgot the golden rule. We call it the Wall of Shame. We're in charge here. That's pretty easy to grasp, isn't it? But sometimes one of you forgets. And that gives us some more motivation to make you better students. So, how's your memory?
My memory? That's what there's nothing amusing. My memory works well enough to remember who's in charge here. Don't worry.
You catch on fast, Rat. That's a good thing. Now get out of here.
Класс, мотоцикл.
It is, isn't it? It's a...
You don't have the authority to touch it, or point at it, or even look at it.
Dare to touch it with your grubby hands, and you're a dead man. I guarantee it. Got it?
Okay, understood. I won't bother you anymore.
Get lost.
Стена позора.
The Wall of Shame. This wall looks like it's witnessed a good number of executions, to say nothing of murders. A pool of blood mixed with mud marks the spot where that man, the mole, was shot. It gives me the chills. They may be able to kill with impunity, but it's still the scene of a crime.
Крайм. Это громко сказано.
Someone knocked over that enormous, and considering what it must have weighed, nothing of interest. But wait a minute.
Пачка сигарет.
Hey, you filthy rat! Get out of my house! Do you hear me? Out!
Forgive me.
We've got nothing left for you to steal. Go back to your sewer, you filthy rat! Scram!
No, you've got it all wrong. I haven't come to take anything. But wait a minute. I recognize you. Weren't you with the man they shot out there a while back?
Yes, my name is Misha.
Misha.
And that man is my husband.
Ну что, за что вы убили твоего мужа?
But what happened? Why did they shoot your husband?
It's all your fault. All because of you camp rats. One of you reported him for harboring a dissolved. And those army pigs opened fire without even caring who they were aiming at, or how hard my husband had worked for them.
So the lady the cleanup brigades took away from this house was a dissolved.
That was my mother. I'm never gonna see her again. Damn filthy rats. Are you satisfied? It was you people that brought death to this family.
Сердечно вы его заграбили.
Why is everything...
They left us nothing. Those envious rats took everything.
Крысы?
They'd been hanging around waiting for days. It seems like those bums have a sixth sense about where a dissolved is being hidden. When they saw my husband injured and lying on the ground, they forced their way in and looted our house.
Bums?
Жестко.
Envious rats? Who are you talking about exactly?
Them! All of them! Everyone living here in this camp envies us. They envy who we are, what we have, our privileges, our army contacts.
So they envy you because your husband is a mole. Is that right?
Don't call him that, you worm! He collaborates with the forces of law and order. That's his job.
And in this collaboration with law enforcement, wasn't turning in others of the dissolved one of your husband's duties?
Ирония, да.
Shut up! Shut up! You envy us too! You're just like the rest of the rats in this camp. And what are the three of us gonna do when my husband's gone? We'll lose everything. The house, the money, our privileges.
Деньги? Скажу, оставь. В семье кто-то еще есть?
We have 2 children, 2 small boys. And in this camp, envy eats away at everybody. Now we'll be outcasts. No one will help us when my husband is gone. Winter will come, our money will run out, and my children will starve. Those 2 brats wear me down with their antics. I have to, but they're my children, and none of this is their fault.
Как твой муж?
He's badly injured. One of the bullets went through his stomach. He's not gonna make it. He's really suffering. He's in excruciating pain. If we at least had some morphine to ease his pain.
Каких льгот вы лишаетесь?
As a collaborator, my husband always received special treatment from the army. More generous rations of food and water. A little money, clothes, a treat now and then for the kids. And now all of that's gonna end. We won't be able to leave the camp. When he dies, they'll take away his gate pass. We'll die locked up in here. Like you rats.
Listen, Misha.
And just how are you?
There's something important I urgently need to get from the other side of the fence. While I'm out there, I could also get some morphine for your husband. I've heard that things are better in the city. It shouldn't be too hard for me to find some. But first I need to get out of the camp.
Like I told you, my husband has a pass that gets him through the gate. I could lend it to you, but I don't trust you. I don't... Beat it!
If I want to get my identity back, I need that. I have to do whatever it takes again. Listen, I'm not just another camp rat. You told me you were worried about winter coming. Let me help you. I'll bring you food. Food for your children. Then will you trust me?
I don't know. Bring me the food first. First you bring me food for my children, and then we'll talk about that pass.
I'll do it.
Мне кажется, помрет уже, когда вы потащим, нет? О, дети кота.
Hi, kids.
Hello, sir.
What are you up to?
Hello, sir.
We're doing target practice. We're going to be real good shots. Someday, we'll get those pigs who shot Dad.
How awful. Poor kids. And how's the target practice going?
Bad at the moment. We need a real target, or we'll never be able to hit those soldiers.
Yeah, we need a better target. Hey, quit talking to that rat. He's not one of us. You know what Mom and Dad say about the people in the camp. Leave my brother alone. Get lost, rat.
Yeah, you're not one of us. Get lost, rat.
Вот поболтали.
I'm not gonna pick them up. I'm sure it took the... Besides,
Разлом в небе почему-то, кстати, можем увидеть только
that
отсюда.
must be that strange phenomenon in the sky I've heard people talking about in the camp. The one that appeared just after the Great Wave. God is urging his angels to punish us through the wound.
Pigs.
A primitive target, although from what they say, one of the many sentry towers surrounding the camp. And inside each and every one of them, there's a sniper, armed to the teeth and itching to shoot something.
Вид на лагерь
The
беженцев.
view from here is incredible. Until you get a look from this side, it's impossible to get an idea of the true size of the refugee camp.
Damn it. What's going on? It's amazing. Everything's changing again. Everything. Everything is mutating, and I haven't even moved. I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
Бедняга.
Hi, kids.
Bad at the... We need...
Hey, you...
Yeah.
Ну, понятно, они, конечно, я мишень раздобыл, окей.
Clothes, there's no question.
Так.
While she's here in the room.
Логично. Бегать он не умеет, я так понимаю.
Dented, dirty, and in pretty bad shape. Dozens of stored drums stacked chaotically. Another brick-and-mortar building. These structures stand out like mansions in the misery that dominates the...
Видимо, он тоже крот. Ой, ну да, кого-то инаки
Another
видать.
camp inhabitant.
А во время сдвига реальности уйти можно, ведь там нет лагеря, забыл говорить, не Захар. Мы ничего не можем делать в этот момент.
Hello.
Hello, son. Would you like to get a little closer to the fire?
Thanks, mister. This is a rather isolated part of the camp. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm waiting. That's all. Just waiting.
Чего именно? Смерти, видимо.
You're waiting.
Nothing in particular. The usual. For the fire to go out. For sunrise. For it to get cold again. I'm waiting for something to change. Or for everything to stay as it is. I'm just waiting. You're too young to understand.
Начинает холодать. Где ваш подкрытель?
Yes, I had a tent once. They issued me one when I decided to enter the refugee camp after the Great Wave. A trailer was out of the question. They went to the families with the best contacts. Ah, you know how it is. Even in purgatory, some people are more equal than others.
Довольно пошли лагерь. Значит, людей не сгорели все насильно?
Oh, no. Of course not. Why would they have to force us? The catastrophe hit the city hard. Those of us who had lost our homes were invited to come here. In principle, it was temporary, just until the authorities got the situation under control and started rebuilding. We used to have food, water, and a place to sleep.
But now it's more like a prison camp than a refugee center. What happened?
I don't really know. I guess something went wrong. The new housing they promised us never got built. And in the end, the army seized control of the camp. The food ran out, and then the water supply. Nobody bothered to replace them. Seems like our lives didn't matter anymore.
I see.
In time, things in here started to get very ugly. There were riots, uprisings, and the army decided to close the gates of the camp without any notice. One day they decided that no one could enter or leave here. Well, actually, people still could. Enter, that is. Now, this is where anyone who gets in the way in the city ends up. Or anyone they don't know what to do with.
So, this has turned into something like a concentration camp.
That's right, son. That's exactly what it is. You know, it's funny. I remember when my father told us about the war in Europe, about all the persecution, deportations, those overcrowded cattle cars.
Толсто делают отсылку.
That all sounded to us like an old movie, an old horror movie. And look at us now. I guess some things never change. They just stop being visible for long enough for us to forget about them.
Так, сейчас подойдет. Так. Есть запасные мышки, есть запасные клавишки, а запасных наушников нету. Ну что, ждем утра. Жалко, паять не умею. Че, вообще никаких нету наушников? Даже типа, ну... Этих. Не вот таких вот больших, а обычных там, беспроводных и так далее. Очки в сильно другом стиле, чем окружение. Разве? Ну, они потому что анимированы, а окружения особо нет. А где теперь ваш поход на палатку?
Where's your tent now?
It was stolen from me a while back. They fetch a good price on the black market now.
Stolen?
You seem to be new in the camp, am I right? These things happen nowadays. It's best to take things as they come. The reality of the new world is very simple, son. The soldiers and the moles do whatever they like on this side of the fence. And the hunter and his men run the black market and all the dirty rackets. I suggest you memorize all this.
The hunter?
Ой. Да ёк. Что произошло?
Do you know where I can find him?
You can find him in those barracks at the back. That's his... Well, let's say it's his logistics office.
Случайное.
Now, the hunter is very dangerous. Watch your step around him and his men. I happened to meet his father when he was young. He was a violent, degenerate son of a bitch. A real asshole. And I'm afraid his son has followed in his footsteps.
Поговорим о чем-нибудь другом.
Let's talk.
Можно как-нибудь выбраться... Так, вот
Yes, the trailer. You know how it is.
Ага. Как-нибудь выбраться из лагеря.
I'm sorry, son. The only way... Or to become a camp mole. Those traitorous scumbags have gate passes.
I see.
I'm not surprised you want to get out of this shithole. Well, they say things are better in the city. But who knows? Well, at least they have Reverend Blake and the consolation of Suicide Park.
Suicide Park?
Nah, just a song that drifts into the refugee camp from the other side. We could sit and count them together, you and I, when the sun departs from Suicide Park. I'm sure you still have some hopes, some dreams.
Blake?
He's a preacher, sometimes come. Now, some people make jokes about him, but many of us believe that he's a prophet. You should hear him speak sometime. His words etch themselves deeply into your soul.
Сколько мощно ударный снаряд колонна? Как вас это за городом?
Truth is, I couldn't tell you. In the first days, the chaos was so overwhelming that no one worried about anything beyond their own backyard. We victims were disoriented, cut off from the world. Then I came into the camp, and news from far-off places doesn't reach this prison. I'm afraid you'd have to leave here.
Не пора. Приятного ожидания. Электрический кабель.
It's a thick cable that runs along that building's roof, but I can't see it very well from here. Okay, here goes. It's impossible to budge these drums at all. Someone placed a... Ugh. Oh, Jesus.
О, какой-то местный бар.
It's a bunch of open... I'm not sure why, but I find the smell of stale alcohol they give off distasteful, like all the other odors in this place.
Заберем.
He's behind the bar, and he serves the drinks.
What are you having, pal?
Nope, I'm afraid I don't have any cash on me.
That's no problem here. We don't only accept cash, we also barter. We accept anything of value. That excludes checks, naturally.
За это место ты владелец?
No, pal, don't get the wrong idea. I only work here. This belongs to the hunter, like every other business enterprise here inside the camp. He's the head honcho.
I see.
Что
What do you
подаете?
sell?
Anything you can eat or drink. Anything that fits into a box or a bottle. For other types of goods, talk to the hunter directly. What do you need? Liquor, tobacco, food?
I could use some food.
You're in luck. We have some of these emergency food rations the authorities distributed among the inhabitants of the camp in the first weeks after the Great Wave. You know, a bunch of them just happened to fall into our hands. What do you have to offer in exchange?
Тут спиртного сойдет?
Let me see. It's a good brand of whiskey, but the bottle's been open, and there's a lot missing. I'd take it, but I'd need something more.
I'm afraid I have nothing more that can interest you.
Too bad, pal. Come back with something more, and the food's yours. You know how it works.
Сигареты, короче, в теории.
Hello?
Я видел бочки из стального входа здания. Чисто любопытство, что в них?
Nothing. Just some things that need to be stored. Take my advice, pal. Keep your nose out of the hunter's business if you want to keep it on your face.
Okay, it was just curiosity. I'm not really... The cheerful patrons of the bar. I suppose the gray substance one of them is sipping is liquor, but I can't tell what kind. I don't think he can either. The speaker is cranking out a dreary, droning... Most of these bottles have been opened. They're filled with a grayish liquid with a rather unappetizing appearance.
Мау,
Stain
начинается.
from spilled drinks, rings from glasses and rust. The bartender looks out from the other side, seemingly bored and apathetic.
Да ладно, по-моему, довольно веселый.
Mike, my friend, it's nice to see you again.
Он запомнил.
Hi.
Guys, this is my friend Mike. He's new around here. We met at one of the cleanup brigade's latest parties. Isn't that right, dude? Pull up a seat and have a drink. We like to be hospitable to newcomers.
Something tells me I shouldn't accept that drink. That it's not a good idea. Not anymore. No thanks. I don't drink.
Okay, Mike. Whatever you say. But I'm not accustomed to people turning down a drink. At least, not in my own establishment, in front of my men. So tell me, what brings you here?
Один повелел, ты знаешь, если лекарство может помочь читающему, как его достать.
A friend of mine. A friend of yours, huh? Friendship is important, Mike. The camp is a very tough place. And you have to be loyal to your people. I like your gesture. Do I know this person?
No, I don't think so.
I see. Well, look, dude, I've heard something about that cure, but I don't know if it's true or just a camp legend. Sometimes desperation leads to wishful thinking. You know how it is. But if that drug exists...
Where?
There's a small medical center on the outskirts of the city. It's more like a pharmaceutical warehouse, but it's heavily guarded. I bet my bottom dollar that's where they keep anything that valuable. Maybe you should take a look at that building, if you can find a way out of this hellhole, that is.
Нафига ты нам это рассказываешь?
Let me give you a piece of advice. Stay away from those untouchables, from the dissolved. They won't bring you anything but trouble.
Что еще можешь сказать о тающих?
Only what the authorities say. The disease is fatal. And they say you can catch it just by breathing next to one of those untouchables. That's why they have to get rid of them as soon as possible. Have you ever seen one of those poor suckers die, dude?
No, I haven't.
Well, you're lucky, Mike. It goes something like this. After weeks of drifting in and out of their trances, something happens inside their bodies. Something fails all of a sudden. The pain makes them kick and scream like pigs in a slaughterhouse. Then their flesh begins to melt, to become liquid. Do you understand, Mike? That's why they gave it that name. They literally dissolve.
But that's terrible. Those poor people.
On the contrary, dude, those bastards spread the plague. It's them or us. Understand? Anyway, you know how it works. The cleanup brigades tend to be more than generous with responsible citizens who help them with their mission of tracking down the dissolved.
Интересно, они растят жидкость. Какую жидкость? Уж не ту ли, что они пьют? Уж не та ли, что в бочках? И могут достать мне это лекарство.
I don't get mixed up in things like that, dude. Helping or hiding the dissolved will be severely punished. Not even collaborators are free from reprisals. You saw what happened to that mole. Those pigs are ruthless about this.
What are you talking about, those pigs?
That's camp slang. The soldiers, the cleanup brigades. The inhabitants of this shithole call anyone with a rifle and a uniform a pig. They can blow your head off right on the spot with impunity.
Полицейские. Почему не зовут охотником?
That's a good question, Mike. You know my real name is Hank, but no one calls me that anymore. Now I'm the hunter, because I can find you what you want, when you want it. You know, doesn't matter where it is, how fast it runs, or where it tries to hide. The new world gave me a new name and a new life.
A new life?
Yeah, a new life. It's hard to explain, dude. But I think in a way, you and I are similar, Mike. That's why I like you. Let me explain it to you. It was the Great Wave. The Great Wave that changed and purified everything. The old world was a messy, complicated, and unjust place. After the Great Wave, everything became crystal clear. When all the old laws disappeared, only one rule remained. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's that simple. And that's the universal law that puts each of us in our rightful place. Do you follow me?
You gotta do what you gotta do. Sounds like a handy way to justify anything and everything, even the indefensible. Yes, Hank. I follow you perfectly.
I knew it. I knew you'd get it straight off, Mike. But don't call me Hank. I told you, that guy died in the Great Wave.
Слово, вниз перенесу, дошли, что иногда субтитры сверху идут, а снизу вроде как не особо. Пикова! Хочу побегать. Короче, очень добренькие, потом мы...
Remember, dude, here we can get you whatever you need. No questions asked.
А потом мы будем и... Как там? С ним повздоим.
A thick wall of scrap metal, debris and rusty metal surrounds this place on all four sides. It's a good 20 feet high. I can't believe it manages to stay up. An enormous rusty tank designed to collect rainwater. Everything indicates that the Great Wave wiped out the concept of running water in one fell swoop, at least on this side of the fence. Cars, machinery, steel. This place is a veritable cemetery of the industrial age. She's a very young woman, practically a girl. She's playing by herself with some junk she found among the scrap metal and trash.
Hello, Mr. Sleepyhead.
Excuse me?
What
did you call me?
You're Mr. Sleepyhead. I saw you sleeping in Colin's trailer.
А еще
I'm so glad you're awake now.
шрифт такой, как той, кто нас пытался побудить, а нет? Я не спал много болевых Телли.
No, you weren't sick. You were sleeping like a big brown bear, Sir Sleepyhead.
Как медвежонок.
Sometimes I used to watch you sleeping in Rod's house, and you would grunt in your sleep like a bear. A great big lazy bear, Mr. Sleepyhead.
Понятно
But
всё с
I'm
ней.
glad you're awake now. I like your voice. You sound like a knight in a fairy tale.
Мистер Сойна? Нет, меня не так зовут, я Майкл.
No, my name is Rose.
There's something odd about this girl's behavior. It's true that she's very young, but she talks like a little girl. Nice to meet you, Rose.
Ты знаешь рода и корена?
Of course. Well, when they let me out of the van, that is. Rod and his wife have been very nice. We're very good friends. Are you?
Yes.
Do you want me to tell you a secret, Mr. Sleepy?
Of course.
I have your old clothes. The ones you were wearing when Rod and his wife found you. I have them in the van. They were going to throw them away, but they gave them to me to wrap my baby in. He'll be cold now that winter's coming.
Your baby? You have a baby, Rose?
Yes, I have a baby, but he's not with me right now. He got lost. Have you seen him? Do you know where he is? I have another secret to tell you, Mr. Sleepyhead.
Back in the van, Rose. Now. Move your ass. Get in there.
Походу.
Another secret? Just a minute. Wait.
Get in that van, Rose.
It's a very important secret, Mr. Sleepyhead. Something about you. Something about before the Great Wave. But first I have to find my baby. Have you seen him?
Come on, Rose, you heard me. You don't want to get us mad now, do you?
I have to go. Goodbye, Mr. Sleepyhead.
А еще, походу, она тоже
She's
путешествует.
obviously mentally ill. She's just a little girl in a grown-up's body.
And you, if you want to go in there with her, you gotta pay like everybody else.
Все понятно. Ого, узнать какое-то тайное моем прошлом до Великой войны, откуда-нибудь сведения. Что она может знать? Бандиты.
Hey, you guys. You talking to us?
Я так и думал, говорит, не сахар. Да, все пьем, погон, подключи по огню, говорит, полицол. Держишь перед головой, она стоит себе маленькую девочку. Почему вы такие бессовестные?
Rose is an adult. She's earning a living. Like we're all trying to in this camp.
Mind your own business, pal.
You're abusing a poor, disturbed girl.
Us? Taking
Эффективно,
advantage of Rose? Us? You want to insult us?
We're giving her room and board. She's got nothing to complain about. But she's got to work. That's the only thing we ask of her in return. That's the way things work now.
Bring us the money, then you can get in the van with her. Hey, do us a favor and spare us all that sanctimonious crap from the old world, pal. Don't waste our time.
Let me Of course, it's none of our business what you want to do with her. But if you go into the van, you gotta pay the price.
Got any money on you?
No, I don't have any on me.
Then come back when you do and quit. We have a very busy schedule, you know?
The girl said something about a secret involved. It seemed important. Maybe it was a product of her madness. I'll come back with the money.
Now that sounds much better. I see that we're starting to speak the same language.
I don't have anything.
К слову, они не говорят по цену, просто деньги ему.
What exactly do you think you're doing?
Hey, pal, touch that generator and you're a dead man. My partner and I don't kid around when it comes to defending what's ours. That clear?
Extremely. I was just curious and wanted to see this relic up close. You don't have to get nervous. A few lousy coins. These guys have improvised a card table for the... There's no doubt that necessity is sharpened the resourcefulness.
Так, что мы раздобыли? Мы раздобыли пустынные банки.
A bunch of empty...
Легкие и бежащие. Весь убийца может вместо денег поискать дубину покрепче. Может и так.
Can I ask?
I'll answer.
Well.
Just.
It doesn't look like... The cable's too high. Okay. It's impossible to... It's a thick... But I can't...
И вот мы застряли, да? Типа, что делать-то?
Hello?
I could use...
You're in luck among the... You know, what do you...
кредит?
Could you give it to me on credit until I get something to trade for it?
Sorry. This isn't a charity, pal.
I'm not...
Короче, придется, видимо, отвлечь мамашу, чтобы сигарету не украсть. И дубину в заточку.
It's Misha, a rather unpleasant woman. First, I have to get some food for her children.
Насчет мишеней.
Impossible.
Да сразу все ты поставь, что ты.
Thank you. Now we'll really be able to become the best shots in the camp.
So now you're saying this rat isn't a rat?
No, I'm not. My name is Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Почему тебе сохранять солдат?
We have to get revenge. We're big boys now. And that's what we gotta do. Those pigs shot our dad. We heard him screaming. He's hurt real bad.
Mom said we'll never see him again.
Damn pigs! My brother and I are gonna get them. All of them.
But when they were Dad's friends, you used to say you wanted to be a soldier when you...
Shut up. I wish I could reach those watchtowers with my rocks.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
That's not a bad idea.
Something
tells me that a little commotion along the barbed wire fence would be a good thing for everyone.
С ума сошел? Они же их же расстреляют. А вот да, хорошая идея, идите кидайте камнями солдат. Ходить на улице такое счастье.
Hey, we have to practice our marksmanship. Our mom gets real mad when we do it inside the house. It's not like we have anywhere else to go in this dump.
There is no school. Not since the explosion.
Our mom
почему мы не в
says we
школе
don't need
спрашивают?
it anyway. We're big boys now, and someday we'll be very important people in the camp. Just like our dad. That's why we don't hang out with the other kids around here. Our parents say they're rats. They'd be a bad influence on us.
Yes, we're going to be brave and strong, like our dad. Right, Michael?
Of course you will.
Мне нужна ваша помощь, парни.
I need your
How can we help you, Michael?
I have to get something from inside your house. It's something I need so that I can help your father. Understand? But your mother is very agitated, and I need you to give me a hand with her. It's a mission.
What do you want us to do, Michael?
I need you to get your mother out of the house for a few minutes. Just long enough for me to go in and get what I need.
Вообще без
Of
палева.
course, we're big boys.
I'll owe you. I promise to give you a reward.
Okay, let's do it.
A mission.
Парни
I'm
потрясающие,
not gonna
конечно.
besides.
Типа, да, конечно, какой-то чувак к нам зайдет домой и что-то возьмет из нашего дома. Конечно, мы ему поможем. Да он же вас грабит, блин.
Better not. I have no interest.
Ну, все, уходим, чё.
Oh, my head! What the hell's going on? Oh, God! My head feels like it's gonna explode!
Michael, please, help us, help us. Please, remember, Beechwood Oracle.
Repent! It's the sun! Was it our fault? Did we do it? Yes! We did it!
Enough! Please! Enough!
Please, Michael, help us. Only you can do it. Remember, Beechwood Oracle.
Good God! What are these images? And that woman's voice? It's the same one that woke me up in the trailer. I'm trying! I'm trying to remember! And stop tormenting me!
I hope Rod helps me find some answers. If not, I'll go mad.
Жесть.
Absolutely mad.
Эти станы видения, тот же женский голос разбудил меня. Что ж такое буковый оракул?
Hello again.
I could use
You're among, you know, what do you...
Пачка
I
сигарет.
have this pack of cigarettes.
Virginia tobacco. There's not much of this in the camp. That's a good start. But it's not enough. The pack's been open and several cigarettes are missing. I'd need something more.
What a bottle.
Fantastic. I'll take both of them. Here you go, pal. The food package is all yours. Enjoy it in good health.
О, нормально, хоть запас еды. Ну и детишка-то хватит, блин, там на пару дней, нет? Ну, anyway, это что-то. Мы пообещали ей что-то, мы ей дадим что-то.
The box says, Government Rescue Campaign. Sales of these foodstuffs is prohibited. I have no doubt whatsoever. That is. Here. This.
That's all the food you brought? This will barely feed us for 2 days.
I'm sorry, it's very complicated getting more in the camp. I only wanted to show you that you can trust me, that I can help you.
That's what all you rats in this trash heap say? But in the end, only thing you're interested in is taking advantage of my husband and me.
I've held up my part of the bargain. Isn't that proof enough? Listen, let me have that pass to get out of the camp, and I promise I'll come back with the morphine you need to ease your husband's suffering.
Ah, okay. But you better hurry. Here.
What's this? A bracelet?
It's like an ID badge. Wear it and the soldiers will recognize you. It won't just get you out of the camp. It'll also help you avoid all kinds of problems with the army once you reach the city. I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing by giving it to you. Just don't betray me, you rat. Bring me that morphine from my husband and I promise you, I'll give you lots of money in return.
Oh.
Much more money than you could earn in a lifetime in this shithole.
No, that's not necessary. You never said anything about money.
I have to know you're coming back. I don't trust any of you, and I know that money is the only thing that'll make you keep your word. All you camp rats are alike. Now get out of my sight, and don't make me regret this. And don't come back without my husband's morphine. There'll be a fat wad of cash waiting for you.
Okay.
Okay.
It's an ID bracelet. Wearing one of these brings certain privileges. I don't mean to bother you, but...
Hey.
I won't bother...
Get... Go through that gate.
Do you need to get a closer look at what I have on my wrist?
Wait a minute. Look, he's got on one of those ID bracelets the council.
Серьезно, там человек-экспозиция.
Lower your gun and let him leave.
You heard him. Get out of here, rats.
Вот есть канализация. Как это интересно выглядит. Гора отбросов. Мешает прутья.
In the distance, the other end of... A few yards away I can see a great mass of that accumulated in there in the years since this water outlet was last cleaned. Blah.
Окей.
So, I enter the city. It welcomes me with its most merciless and bitter grimace. What I see before my eyes is not what I expected. Doomsday made it here, too. Even if no one in the refugee camp knows it yet. Damn it. The city looks as bruised and battered by the catastrophe as the rest of us.
Глава 2. Град обреченный. Logan's Run. Happy birthday, you are 30 today. С днем рождения тебе 30 теперь.
Help me, please. Help me. Don't let them find me in the street after curfew. They'll take me to the refugee camp. Help me, please. But don't make any noise. There's a patrol just round the corner.
Что хотите от меня?
It's almost curfew. I need a place to hide.
Что за комендантский час?
At curfew, the soldiers want the streets cleared.
Поворот
And
пошли
the way
завтра.
they see it, if you're out on the street after curfew, it means that you've got nowhere to go. You don't have a home. You don't belong here. And that makes you a rat. And so they take you to the refugee camp. I can't go to the camp. Understand? I can't go there.
Вам нужно, конечно, некуда пойти?
I owned an apartment. The block was badly damaged by the Great Wave, but it was still standing.
And what happened to your home?
This morning, we had to evacuate the area in a hurry. We ran out in the streets with whatever we had on. Apparently, the foundation was starting to crumble. And a few hours later, all that was left of my home was a pile of smoking rubble, with 40 years of memories buried beneath it. But I can't let them take me to the camp. Please.
Да я тебя понял, давай кусачки.
This house was empty, but the army has sealed it off. If I can just get this padlock off before curfew, I'll be safe. I need to get in here. If the soldier...
Тут тоже инструмент посерьезнее, да, видимо?
Impossible.
I need to...
Аптечную склад, ничего долго не
I don't
знаете?
really know. There's a small medical center just outside the city limits. I suppose you mean that, right? They built it in a hurry, just knocked it together after the Great Wave. No one really knows what it's for, but there are vehicles going in and out of the place all the time. Whatever they're doing in there, they're keeping it very secret. Not even my daughter would tell me what goes on inside.
Did you say your daughter?
Yes, my daughter. My little Uma. She works there as a nurse. I'm afraid she left me. I suppose she got tired of living with a frail, sick old man like me. Because one day she simply left the house, and I haven't seen her since. It's been months now. I think she was right to leave me. These times are hard enough. You don't want to burn yourself with someone like me.
I'm sorry.
Help me, please.
Да.
Hello, friend. You look lost. Come over by the fire.
It's dying down, but maybe it'll last until curfew.
As long as those uniformed psychopaths don't decide to end our little get-together first, of course.
Hey, look! One of those magic bracelets from the camp. They say that place is a real hellhole. A kind of living death. So, you've come back from the dead. Do they call you Lazarus?
Well, you could put it that way.
Well, it depends on the mood of the soldiers in this zone. But you know it's time to go home when they start taking their guns out of their holsters.
Today they're extremely jumpy. I don't think it'll be long before they start insulting people and hitting them with their rifle butts.
You guys are awfully hard on them. It's just their crude way of showing us affection.
Oh, shut up. In any case, you don't have to worry. That bracelet means you don't have to hide from them. You know, that's one of the privileges that comes with it.
And you? Do you people have to hide?
We try to stay out of their way. The first rule is, be home before curfew. Anyone who isn't gets dragged off to refugee camp. That's one of the strictest laws the Great Wave imposed upon this city.
Знаете, в других местах приходят ли новости извне?
And do you know? I'm afraid not. With no communications or transportation, and with the army on every corner, we are totally cut off.
Who cares anyway? When you don't know from one day to the next if you're gonna be alive, there's no time to worry about what happens 100, 1,000, or 100,000 miles away.
I understand.
Почему быть солдат? Ты слышишь, здесь более-менее наладилось.
I don't know where you heard that, friend, but whoever told you that was lying. Here, things are very ugly and getting uglier every day. Everything's in short supply: water, food, medicine.
We have a surplus of just two things: misery and violence.
Убожество.
Life is cheap here, and getting cheaper all the time, especially since the army took over.
The army. I see. And what happened to the other authorities? The politicians? The laws?
Those are distant memories from the old world, because all that collapsed like a house of cards. Since the Great Wave, no one's got any plan, strategy. We're all adrift.
He's right. The most reliable thing we have left is what you see around the corner. Armed teenagers in uniform on the streets, on the rooftops, just as scared as we are, or more, and shooting anything that moves.
I think our common destiny is to finally die of starvation, of disease, or boredom. I don't know which of the three options I find the most cruel. Who knows? Maybe the most sensible thing is to organize a group excursion and break into Suicide Park.
Suicide Park? Don't call it that. It's not funny. That name's as stupid as that hospital they built in such a hurry next to it. It's crazy. The entire city is starving and sick, and the soldiers keep those medical facilities locked up like Fort Knox.
Что ж можно путать, если нельзя использовать?
I don't understand.
No one does, friend. I don't know why anyone would want to go into that building. But I can assure you that they're not going to get treated for anything in there. Not even for a miserable cold.
Besides, it's a real fortress. The person would be more likely to come out sick from an overdose of gunpowder and lead. You know how it is, dear. There's no cure for love or death. Hey, I like that last phrase. It would make a good opening line for a story.
Oh, will you shut up for once, Ramon? Don't pay any attention to him. In the old world, he earned his living writing stories, and he still thinks that all that waste paper might someday be useful after the Great Wave.
Ну, вообще, культура.
It is. A good deal of that scrap paper is fueling this bonfire right now, dear. So I can consider my literary career to have been
Oh, он молодец, мне нравится. Факт самоубийц, флаги принес лучше.
And the first dark star, we could sit and count them together, you and I.
When the sun departs from Suicide Park. Yes, I recognize the song. But what the hell is it? Is there really a place with that name?
Yes, it exists. After the Great Wave, and when things were starting to get really ugly here, the weakest among us eased their suffering with a bullet, by overdosing, or by jumping from high places. You know how it is. All those dark stars had a hard time finding a reason to go on living.
There was a terrible wave of suicides, and there still is.
The problem is at some point a problem arose. How should I put it? A serious
Патронов не хватает.
problem. Access to drugs and firearms became practically impossible. So the easiest thing was to grab a rope or a belt and go to Suicide Park after dark.
There was a time when it was hard to find a free branch anywhere in the park.
The suicides in the area multiplied at such a rate that the army closed down the park. They said for public health reasons.
For months, the only thing blooming in that park were the corpses of the hanged.
Их
The
никто и не
place
снимал.
became more like a theme park. Lots of fun for everyone.
Охренеть.
I told you not to make jokes about that. Don't you have any respect for anything?
Of course not. That was one of the many things I lost in the Great Wave. And one of the things I missed the least, believe me.
Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for the company, friend.
А зачем самоубиваться именно в парке? Можно же в любом месте это сделать.
Judging from what remains of the stained glass, now it's one of the most badly damaged buildings in the area. There are hardly any walls still standing.
Витраж остался.
The traffic in this part of the city must, but now you can barely hear the sound of the few army vehicles still circulating in the surrounding areas. What was formerly the entrance to a subway stop is now subway service suspended, and I imagine the train tunnels were flooded or ruined after the Great Wave. A metal sign bolted to the wall, and from what I can see... Let's see. I can try to rip it off. I'm afraid I'm not going...
Send us a sign, Lord. We need a sign from you.
Hey, wait a minute. I know that voice.
Are we guilty of arousing your... Speak with your tongue of fire, Lord. Is this our doing? Unleash your thunderous...
I'm getting a strong impression that man's a fanatic and a little bit deranged. But his sermon made me curious. What could he mean by, we did it?
Ну, походу, так и есть, не знаю.
That is your sign.
Oh no. Here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid, while everything around me is transformed. Good God.
Когда церковь была целая.
We still have time.
The catastrophe caused a lot of damage to the statue's pet is a miracle.
The ruins of the temple.
The catastrophe is a
The
miracle.
lion above the flames. We still have time.
This column fragment must have fallen. Now it's keeping the pedestal of the...
Этаже падающий Люцифер. Да.
Considering the condition of the rest of the church, such little light that gets in from the street.
The thunderous voice of your angels through the gash. That is your sign.
A few parishioners, although I'm sure they can't decipher the meaning of this. I'm not going to interrupt him in the middle of his... That must be Reverend... I don't understand a word. Could that be the reason why everyone...
Значит, нам пока делать нечего.
It's
О,
rather
медцентр.
disconcerting to see such a small building surrounded by such extreme security measures. Could this be the medical center people have been telling me about? It's one of the Great Wave wrecked this place. Closed for public health is written on this piece of wood. Wait a minute. Health? With no A?
Так, табличку забрали.
Southside Park. Would you believe it? This must be the famous suicide park I've been hearing so much about. Huh. The pun is as witty as it is macabre.
South Park.
So... Impossible. It's not that it's super heavy.
Нужен инструмент.
A piece of wood with a handwritten sign. Closed for public health reasons. Judging from the handwriting, I assume the author of the message was one of those animals in uniform.
Animals уже быстро.
The nails that held up the sign announcing the closure of Suicide Park. They're incredibly rusty. But considering the epidemic of the dissolved, tetanus is the least of my worries at the moment.
Титанус, столбняк, да.
Soldiers? I don't know what the... It's the silhouette of the... It seems like those uniformed psychopaths' rifles are projected onto each and every corner of the city.
Ловушка для безумных. Ужас какой.
They were nailed into it.
Так.
Best not to waste time trying... I don't quite see... This plank... Use this here?
Окей. Вот его просят, что делать дальше.
A chain with a pack. Let's not waste... I don't think I'd gain it.
Illuminate us with your fiery voice, Lord.
The pedestal definitely...
Send us a sign.
Let's see. If I wedge one of the ends of the plank under the statue's pedestal, the other part will rest directly on the base of the toppled column.
Illuminate us with your fiery voice, Lord.
The catastrophe caused a lot is a miracle.
Так, и чё, рычаг это?
We're waiting, Lord. Did we do it? Illuminate us. Send us a sign with your just and vengeful arm. Is this our fault? Listen! It's the fiery breath of God. The Lord has sent us his sign. And I was right. It is all our fault. We did it, and we have aroused his fury.
But what the hell's going on here?
Look, that's the sign. Forgive us, Lord.
Это из того, что мы статую покатали?
Repent, all ye sinners.
It's the atmospheric phenomenon I've been hearing so much about. That infernal sound coming from the crack in the sky. It's terrifying.
That is the sign. We did it. Forgive us, Lord. Forgive us. My children, God has spoken to us with his darkest voice. Haven't you heard him? But there's still time. Salvation lies in the place where it all began, in the ruins, at the source. We must return to the ruins of the temple. We must return. We must.
Толстый кусок стекла.
Well, look at that. Next to this enormous hunk of glass, the colored glass shards I picked up earlier look ridiculous. I'd better get rid of them.
Павшая колонна.
This is a stone fragment that served as physics and religion in peaceful coexistence, and with no need to burn anyone at the stake. Hello.
Yeah, God has shown us with his thunderous voice. But there's still time.
Да, давай.
Head of the lion above the flames that holds the key to everything.
А что же мы сделали?
Time is the will of God. It is his heart and his hammer. The centuries and the ages belong solely to him. The celestial empire is a divine clock. Time rotates around God. Its hands are his angels and archangels. Now I see it all clearly. How could we have been so stupid? Our arrogance had enraged him. That's what we did.
This man is definitely crazy.
I beg you, leave my brother in peace. He's very upset.
Что мы сделали, извините, от ваших слов ничего не понял.
We sullied his name. We did, and that only he can reign. Only he can reign over time. And now that...
Так.
I still don't...
Each cycle is a fluorescent gust of God's will. He reigns over the days and the hours. And we are just instants that slip through his finger. That's what we did.
Я буду скипать, да. О каком знамении вы говорите?
The dark angels of... Haven't you heard? They were speaking with a... That is his sign.
I suppose in his delirium, the man has mistaken that string as a sign from... He's definitely...
Please be so kind as to leave us in peace. Can't you see that my brother is very agitated?
Атмосфера феномена вне восстановлена Великой войной.
No! That may... And now they're opening up like... That is his sign.
Чё скипать, атмосфера же. Ну, уже очень долго говорит безумие, не знаю, которое мне не особо интересно слушать. А еще я... На самом деле...
Yes, leave my brother in peace.
There's still time.
На самом деле, сейчас мысль закончил.
There's still time. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames.
Голову льва над пламенем. Кстати, маленькие осколки куска кого-то исчезли.
A hard, thick piece of...
Безумие, часть игры. Ну да, но типа он говорит одно и то же. Ну, как-то поднадоело. Так, да, мы пока заканчиваем, господа. У нас одна ачивка из 3 выполнена, видимо, когда третья глава закончится. Видимо, мы выполним оставшуюся, я так понимаю. Вот. Пойду посплю. Никуда-то. Персонаж сказал, что у басевых раз есть такой хороший кусок стекла. После возникает вопрос, зачем он брал эти маленькие. Ну да ладно. Пойду посплю. Спасибо, что смотрели. Приходите еще, господа. У нас с вами сегодня будет Fallout 3, Valheim и UFO Aftershock. До встречи. Пара-па-па-пи-пу-пам. Пи-па-па-пи-пу-пи-пам. Папу-пи-пам.